Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here with the introduction to a series that I'm gonna do on my channel. So if you've seen this before, it's gonna be my same intro that I have for all of these videos, because I'm actually gonna do a kind of collection series. So I'm gonna go through all of my products that I have in my collection and also kind of correcting those down, because I'm moving to London, and when you're seeing this I'm probably already moving, because I'm pre-filming these so that I have some videos to upload when I'm actually in the move. So in this video I'm going to go through a category of my products and decide what products I'm going to initially bring to London with me and what I'm going to pack away and put at my parents' house. My goal is to eventually bring all my makeup, but since I'm only bringing my suitcases, which means I can't bring all of my items at once, this video is just going through all of my items and kind of deciding which I am going to bring initially. So yeah, I really hope you enjoy it, and let's just jump straight into the video. Okay, so here I have all of my single eyeshadows, my cream eyeshadows in pots, as well as my Super Shock shadows from Colourpop. I feel like I will start by going through my cream eyeshadows and then we'll move on to the rest. And I do count my Colourpop Super Shock shadows as regular eyeshadows, not cream eyeshadows, although they have kind of a creamy texture. So let's just start with my cream eyeshadows. So I have my cream eyeshadows right here, and I will start by taking out the shades I am definitely not bringing. The first one is the paint pot from MAC in Constructivist. It is a really nice shade, but it's just super dark and I rarely use this. The only time I use this is basically as either a deepen up shade in the crease or kind of before I do a smoky eye, which I don't do very often. So this one will be staying behind for now. One that I probably will bring though instead is the shade Groundwork from MAC. It's also a paint pot. This one is starting to dry out, but I really love this one. This is like a lighter kind of brown. It is what's right there, and it's really nice as a base. So I will be bringing this one for now, and I will perhaps even pan this, although I know that will be quite hard. But since it is starting to dry out, I do want to get some really good use out of this one. So this one will be going with me. Another one that I will not be bringing for now is my creaseless cream eyeshadow from Benefit in the shade Bronze Have More Fun. Again, this is a really dark shade, and I use this in kind of the same way as I do with the Constructivist. You can see it right there. It is also really dark. So this one will also be staying behind. This is really creamy still though, and I'm not worried that this will dry out, so I'm not worried about leaving this one behind. Similarly, I have the Illusion d'Ombre from Chanel in the shade Illusionaire. This one is a dark purple, and again I do not use this very often because I don't reach for darker shades that often. This is starting to dry out a bit, but I mean it is kind of like a greyish purpley shade, and I do not reach for this very often. So as for now I will be keeping this behind, and I may actually declutter this eventually, but not right now, and I will leave this as my parents' house. So I have two more paint pots and two more the Illusion d'Ombre from Chanel. Let's start with those two. The first one I have is New Moon, which I adore. I love this shade. This is actually one of my favorite ones. So I am actually thinking about bringing this one. However, I think I do have a really similar shade from the Colourpop Super Shock shadows. So I think that I will actually leave this one behind and bring that one instead, and I will let you know which one it is when I get to it. This one, however, I do really love, and it's just basically like a silvery glittery shade. I do love it. So this one I will be bringing with me because it's just really nice as a topper shade. And then when it comes to my two paint pots, I have Rubenesque, which is a nice kind of goldy peachy shade. I will not be bringing this one because it's definitely more of a summer shade for me, and I do not love the shade, so this one will be staying behind. Similarly, I have Vintage Selection. This one again is a nice shade, however I do not reach with it that often and I cannot bring too many of these, so this one will be staying behind as for now. Next up, let's do something really easy. This is my Stila Glitter and Glows. I have 4 of them and I love all of them, so I will be bringing all 4 of these because I adore them all. When it comes to my Super Shock shadows from Colourpop, I will be bringing all of these because they do dry out a bit faster than because they do dry out eventually, and I do want to get some really good use out of them when they're still creamy. And I would much rather bring these than, for example, a powder eyeshadow that would last for longer, if that makes sense. So what I will do is actually keep all of these and bring all of them, and then I will go through my single eyeshadows, which are over here, and if I find similar shades I will probably leave that behind and bring this one instead. So here we have my single eyeshadows as well as some duos, which are right here. So what I will do is I will probably pick one up and then, like I said, compare them to my Super Shock shadows and go through what my thought process is. Let's start with this one. This was one that I know I will keep behind for now. It's just this glittery black shade from Kicks, which is a Swedish brand. And this is in the shade Galaxy, and it's one of their baked eyeshadows. This is so stunning to look at, and it's really pretty and super shimmery. However, I can create a similar effect with a dark eyeshadow and topping it with, for example, this silvery topper shade from Chanel. So for now I will be leaving this one behind because it's not one shade that I reach for that often. Let's go through these, which are 3 eyeshadows from Burberry. I love these, however I know all 3 of them are a bit similar. We have them all right here. Like I said, they all are quite similar. I mean, they are a bit different, but not too much. I feel like, for example, these 2 are definitely similar. This one is a bit darker and this one is definitely a bit more rosy. However, I cannot bring both of these, and the one I know that I prefer is this one, which is in the shade Rosewood. So I will be bringing this one and leaving this one behind, and that one is in the shade Midnight Brown. The next shade I have is this one right here, which is called Pale Barley. Again, it is a really nice shade. However, I know that I have similar shades. It's just like a really kind of pale, it's kind of like this medium kind of sandy shade. And I know that I have a shade from MAC that is quite similar, and I think it's Patina that is quite similar. So I think I will leave this behind for now, because that is in my C palette, and I will be bringing those. So next up, let's do my NARS eyeshadows. Let's start with the singles. This one is one of their dual intensity eyeshadows in the shade Callisto. I'm kind of torn about this one. I can't decide if I like it or not. I do own the palette with this shade, but I do not like it at all. However, this one and the shimmery shades are really pretty. You can see it right there. It's super reflective. I do not own a Super Shock shadow, I think, that is similar to this. If any, it would probably be Sailor, which is kind of this light kind of shade with a blue shift. I don't think they will be similar at all, actually, but let's just watch them next to each other for fun. No, they're not similar. I mean, maybe a tiny bit, but looking up close, they are not that similar. So yeah, I will definitely be bringing this one then, because I do not have a Super Shock shadow that are similar to this, and yeah, I just want to get some use out of this one in the next year. And then, like I said, I have 2 more single eyeshadows from NARS. I have the shade Coconut Grove, which is this one right here. It's just a matte dark brown. It is really nice. I do not reach for this that often, but it's super nice to use as an eyeliner. So I think I will bring it because of that reason. And yeah, I do not own too many of these really dark shades, but I think it's good to bring some. Next up, we have a super unique shade. This was limited edition, and it is in the shade Outer Limits. I love this shade. It is super pretty. It's this kind of orangey kind of shade, and it has a pink shift to it. I think it's stunning, and I love using this. It's really glittery, and I adore it. Not sure if we've been able to pick it up on camera, but it is stunning. It's right there. Obviously, I will be bringing this one because I do love it so much. Next up, we have this eyeshadow from YSL. I'm currently panning another one of these, and it's taking me forever. This one is in the shade number 5, and it's this kind of taupey purpley shade. It is swatched right there, and I actually think that I will leave this behind for now because it's not a shade that I reach for too often. And although it is pretty, I think that I do have some similar shades in my C palette, and I will definitely reach for those more than this one, because this is in a single, and I kind of feel like this is a shade that I don't really need to have overlapping in my stash. Next up we have this eyeshadow right here, which is from MAC. This is one of their extra dimension eyeshadows in the shade Amorous Alloy. This one is really pretty. I was trying to pan this earlier in the year, but I just didn't reach for it that much. Like I said, it is stunning, it is right there. However, I do not think that I will bring this because I do have some similar shades from Colourpop. Let's do this one, which is in the shade Sequin. You can see right there, they are quite similar, and this one is just much more reflective. So this one, although they're not exact dupes, will be staying behind for now because I do have some really similar shades in different areas of my collection. Let's do this one, which is a glitter from Stila. This is one of their Magnificent Metals in the shade Metallic Peach. It's kind of the previous thing to these ones. I do really like this one, and you kind of need to use a glitter glue to use this one. However, it is super duper sparkly, and I feel like this would work much better as a topper compared to these ones, which are kind of just liquid eyeshadows. So I will be bringing this one as well because I do really love glitter. And then the last two things I have are two duos from NARS. I think that I will actually bring both of these because they're both two things that I want to get more use out of. I haven't reached for these much over the last 2 years, so I definitely want to get more use out of these because they are getting older in my collection. So both of these will be going with me. So in this category you can see what I am keeping behind and what I'm bringing with me. I am bringing a lot of these single eyeshadows, however I am kind of starting a new project that will make me use my eyeshadow a lot more. So these are some that I want to focus on bringing. The same will be with my palettes. I am not sure how many palettes I will be leaving behind, but all of these are shades that I want to get some more use out of over the next year. So yeah, these will probably go to London with me the next time I go home, because like I said, I am prioritizing the eyeshadows this year. So yeah, that is this for this part. Let's move on to my palettes. So these are all my palettes, and I'm gonna go through these. Just as with my single eyeshadows, I don't think I will leave much of these behind because I am kind of focusing in on my eyeshadows for the next year. I'm starting a new project and I'm looking to kind of use my eyeshadow palettes and my single eyeshadows a lot more. So like I said, I think that I will actually bring most of these, but let's start going through them anyway. Okay, so I kind of went through them in category and brand. So let's start by going through them. Let's start with my C palettes because all of these will be going. I have 3 of them. This one, which is kind of my Makeup Geek and MAC eyeshadows. This is kind of my really aesthetically pleasing C palette. I love this thing and I will definitely be bringing this one. This one is my newest one. I don't have too many eyeshadows in this one. These are all larger sizes, so comparing the eyeshadows in this one to, for example, my previous C palette, you can probably see that the shadows in the top one is a bit larger. These ones are H&M and Nabla eyeshadows, and then this random Lancome one, which is even bigger. And then my final C palette is this random one right here. I do have some more kind of smaller pan eyeshadows right here. A lot of these are from Wet n Wild, and then I have some more kind of smaller pans right there. So that is my 3rd C palette. Another 3 that are going are all of my Anastasia eyeshadows. I love these. I actually haven't played around with the Novena one that much yet because it's relatively new. The Modern Renaissance I've had for ages in my collection. I love this palette. It's an old favorite of mine. And then the Soft Glam I actually played around with quite a lot recently. I've done a lot of kind of glam looks from this for my recent like holiday looks. So that has been really nice, and I love this palette. And then like I said, the Novena palette I actually haven't touched much, but I will definitely want to play with this more, and I am in love with the color scheme of this one. So all of 3 of these will be going with me. Same with my Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. I have 2 of them. I definitely want to pick up more of them, but I have been holding back because I knew this move was coming. So this one is the Element of Surprise. I love this. I love the color scheme of this one as well. I feel like this one has some really similar colors to the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette, and that's kind of why I was interested in this one. And I do really love this one, so this one will be going with me. And then we have this one, which is the Color Pop Yes Please palette. I love this one. This is perfect for summer. So I'm looking forward to playing with this more when it gets warmer again. And yeah, I love this palette. Two palettes that are relatively new to my collection are these two. They are both from Juvia's Place. We have the Masquerade palette. Both of these are the mini version. We have this one, which is so nice. I have done a palette bingo with this one, and I will leave that up in the cards. I love this palette. It's so pretty, and it has some really nice colorful eyeshadows. And as you probably will see in this, you can see that I don't own too many colorful eyeshadows. And I definitely started gravitating towards them in the last year or so, so that's kind of why I picked this one up, because I think this has some really beautiful colorful shades as well as some neutral shades to go with them. And similarly, we have the Magic palette, which is again kind of a colorful eyeshadow palette. This has both warm tone and then cool tones, and it has some pops of color, which I really like. What I like about these is that there are some really colorful intense eyeshadows, but there are some neutral tones to go with them if you don't want to go for a complete colorful eye look, but there are options if you want to do that as well. Okay, so the palettes that I'm kind of torn about bringing are these three right here, so I will actually leave them to the end, but let's go through these ones. We have my two naked palettes, or this one is actually a naked palette too, but and I do have another one here, but these are like my original naked palettes. I have the OG naked one. I have loved this for so long. You can see my mirror broke, so that is gone, but I love this palette. I don't love it as much anymore, but I used to love this and I wore it so much, and I have so many nostalgic feelings to this palette. I think a lot of us on YouTube do. And this is definitely one that I want to show some love in the next year, and definitely want to hit pan on some of these shades. So this one will be going with me as well. Similarly, I have the Naked 3 palette by Urban Decay. I do really love this one. I probably love this one more than the original Naked nowadays, but I haven't used this for so long as well. Some of the shades here are quite light, but I do like that because I don't like a really intense eyeshadow look. And you do have some darker shades right here if you do want to deepen your look up. But the only thing with this palette is that some of the looks that you create are really similar. I feel like these rosy tones look so nice on me, but that's kind of the only look you can get out of this palette. But anyway, I do still like it, and I will definitely want to get some more use out of this one in the next year. We have these kind of mini palettes. Let's start with this one, which is another Urban Decay Naked palette. This one is the Naked Basics palette. I love this one. This is all matte except for this one, which is kind of like a satin shade. This is really useful to have as a base kind of palette. What I love doing is kind of using this one and then topping it with, for example, a Super Shock shadow from Colourpop. So this one is really useful. It's really good to use as a travel makeup thing, so using it in your handbag, and just if you want to touch up your makeup or kind of make it more smoky, using these shades at the end of the day. So I love using this for that, and this one will be going with me as well. These three I actually picked up when I was in London a couple of weeks ago, because I could have purchased these when I move for real, because I actually haven't had time to play around with these, which is kind of sad. I have the Shock Mini palette from I Heart Revolution. I have the Rose Gold palette, again really pretty, and then I have the last one, which is the Nudes, or just Nudes palette, and it's this one right here. So all of these are really pretty. I do really like the look of these. This one is the more unique. These two are actually quite similar, but they are really nice. What I bought them for are kind of similar to the Naked palette, used for traveling and kind of using in my makeup bag at work and stuff. However, like I said, I haven't had time to do that, and I am looking forward to playing with these, but I haven't gone around to it. But I do want to try them out, so I will be bringing all three of these to London. This is a palette that I used quite a bit over the last year. I purchased this earlier in the spring, and I actually love this palette. I love using this together with other palettes because it is quite colorful, and this is actually one of the first more colorful palettes that I picked up, and I do really love it. The quality is not as good as, for example, the Juvia's Place palettes, but I do like the color scheme of this one, and the shades are really unique in my collection, so this one will also be going with me. And then, like I said, we have the last three palettes right here. This one is the Urban Decay Ultimate Basics palette. I do like this one. I got this for Christmas last year and I have used it a handful of times. Since I've been paletting a palette, I haven't really had time to use it too much, but I do really love it still. And I think that this is a really good basics palette to have because it is an all matte palette. It is the only all matte palette that I have that are larger than this one. This one, like I said, is good for traveling, but I do love the options in this one. The only thing is that these shades right here are super similar, but it can kind of create a buildable look. However, I do not reach for this super often, so I actually think that I will leave this behind for now. And I do have, for example, this one if I do want an all matte palette, and I do also have mattes in all of the rest of the eyeshadows that I showed you. So as for now, this would actually be staying behind because I do not feel like I need it at the moment, although I do love this and I will definitely bring it the next time I go back, but for now this one will be staying behind. And then we have these two, which are my two Tom Ford palettes. I have the Golden Mink palette, which is this one right here, and then I have my Cognac Sable, which is right here. I do love these palettes and they were kind of my go-to luxury palette before. I have picked these up in the airport, both of them, so I got the discount there, but I do love them. Every time I wanted to create like a festive look or for any special occasions, I always reached for these before. And yeah, I kind of have been saving these because they are a bit more expensive. The thing with these are that they are great quality. However, I feel like eyeshadows have come so along in the last couple of years. So I feel like a lot of cheaper palettes have kind of started reaching this quality as well. So I do not think that these are worth it anymore. Although they are really nice. If you do like the colors, then I would recommend it. And these kind of glittery shades are super stunning. They're so like shimmery and glittery, and they were really unique. However, like I said, a lot of eyeshadows these days are kind of reaching the same effect, which they weren't when I purchased these. Although I do love both of these palettes, if I'm honest, I do not reach for them that often anymore. And that is probably why I will keep these behind for now. Like I said, I'm definitely not getting rid of them, and I do definitely want to get some more use out of this, but for now I will leave these behind because I do want to focus in on some other palettes in my collection. These are all the palettes that I'm bringing. I can barely fit them into the screen, but yeah, like I said, I want to prioritize using all of my palettes this year because I have been doing a palette and I haven't really rotated my palettes that much this year, so that is an area that I wanted to focus on bringing with me to London. So I know that this will kind of be a struggle to bring because I know that these are quite a lot and they will weigh a lot of my luggage down. The good thing about eyeshadow palettes though is that you can take them in your carry-on because they're not liquids. So I think that's what I will do with these, and also that means that I can be a bit more careful with them. So yeah, that is kind of my summary. Yeah, that is me done with this video. I really hope you enjoyed it and getting a view into my eyeshadow collection. I do have quite a lot of palettes. The thing is, I did purchase quite a lot of palettes this year. Let's just sum up the ones that I did purchase this year. So these are all the palettes that I purchased this year, not including my C palettes, which has kind of shades both from previously and is purchased this year. But I have definitely expanded my eyeshadow palette collection quite a bit this year. I kind of just gotten into palettes. I didn't really use them that much previously, but like you can see, I have purchased quite a lot of them this year. I do kind of want to rotate them in the next year, and I kind of need all of these for the project that I am starting. I'm going to post the introduction to that really soon if I haven't posted that already. So you will see what I'm talking about in that one, and if I have posted it, I will leave that up in the cards up there so you can check it out. But yeah, that was it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it, and yeah, I will talk to you in my next one. Bye guys!